Donald Trump just said at a horrible press appearance outside the White House that he would impose a baseline tax of 10% on all nations. This may be the most disastrous press event in US history. The markets are currently tanking. You can see the after-hours S&P just straight line down right now. He also went country by country, explaining how he was going to impose 25% tariffs on all foreign automobiles. Let me show you what transpired during this press conference that took place. Donald Trump declared that all countries will be subject to a minimum baseline tariff of 10%. Play this video.
Establish a minimum baseline tariff of 10%. You notice that on the chart? And that'll be on other countries to help rebuild our economy and to prevent cheating. So we're going to have a minimum of cheating, and we're going to be very severe on the people that at the gate that watch the tariffs and watch the product coming in, because there's been a lot of bad things happening at the gate.
Next, Donald Trump displays a chart that details his tariffs. Play this video.
No chance of standing. Fortunately, we came armed with a little smaller chart. So it's 67%, so we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. I think, in other words, they charge us, we charge them less. So how can anybody be upset? They will be, because we never charge anybody anything, but now we're going to charge. European Union, they're very tough, very, very tough traders. You know, you think of European Union, very friendly, they rip us off. It's so sad to see. It's so pathetic. 39%, we're going to charge them 20%, so we're charging them essentially half. Vietnam, great negotiators, great people. They like me, I like them. The problem is they charge us 90%. We're going to charge them 46% tariff. Taiwan, where they took all of our computer chips and semiconductors. We used to be the king, right? We were everything. We had all of it. Now we have almost none of it, except the biggest company is coming in. We're going to end up with almost 40%. Lee Zeldin's working to get their approvals. And it's an amazing company. Mr. Wei, of one of the great companies of the world, actually, they're coming in from Taiwan, and they're going to build one of the...
After that, Trump discusses imposing a 25% tax on all cars built abroad.
It happened, and they let it happen to an extent that nobody can even believe. That's why, effective at midnight, we will impose a 25% tariff on all foreign-made automobiles.
Trump then reflects on the term groceries, stating that it is an archaic term that represents an intriguing concept. Play this video.
But likewise, an old-fashioned term that we use, groceries. I used it on the campaign. It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says a bag with different things in it.
Hey, Donald, you made a promise to everyone that you would cut the cost of food on the first day. Prices would drop on day one. But now that you've done this, inflation is skyrocketing, our markets are collapsing, and inflation is only going to get worse. You've broken more promises, but worse than that, you've destroyed the wonderful economy that was given to you, and now the Atlanta Federal Reserve and others are projecting a 8% GDP contraction in the first quarter. Here, Donald Trump questions why he went in 1913. For unclear reasons, we stopped using tariffs. Watch this video.
1913, for reasons unknown to mankind, they established the income tax so that citizens, rather than foreign countries, would start paying the money necessary to run our government. Then in 1929, it all came to a very abrupt end with the Great Depression, and it would have never happened if they had stayed with the tariff policy. It would have been a much different story. They tried to bring back tariffs to save our country, but it was gone. It was gone. It was too late. Nothing could have been done. It took years and years to get out of that depression, far longer than even FDR had that office right over there for a long period of time.
According to Congressman Seth Magaziner, the wealthy pay the majority of income taxes, whereas the middle class pays the majority of tariffs. For this reason, we switched to income taxes in 1913, and Trump is now returning to tariffs. Even though every economist believes that Donald Trump is mistaken, he has all the answers and all the secrets. So just watch him claim that we will all become extremely wealthy very soon. It's Liberation Day, baby, and here is what he is talking about. Play this video.
Declaration of economic independence. For years, hardworking American citizens were forced to sit on the sidelines as other nations got rich and powerful, much of it at our expense. But now it's our turn to prosper, and in so doing, use trillions and trillions of dollars to reduce our
diminish our now. There's a reason why Donald Trump has bankrupted almost every company he's worked with over the years. He is the worst businessman ever. He then doubles, triples, quadruples, and worsens things. His tariffs on goods and services around the world may be the most foolish thing the US has ever done in terms of trade or economic policy. But here, Trump claims that you know what the good old days go back to 1789, when America was the richest. Play this video.
1989 to 1913, we were a tariff-backed nation, and the United States was proportionately the wealthiest it has ever been. So wealthy, in fact, that in the 1880s, they established a commission to decide what they were going to do with the vast sums of money they were collecting. We were collecting so much money so fast, we didn't know what to do with it. Isn't that a nice problem to have? What do you think, Marco? Good problem?
We are not living in the 18th century.
The sycophants that Donald Trump surrounds himself with are nodding and saying, yeah, while they're tanking our economy, they're just as complicit, if not worse, in this kakistocracy. We are not living in the 18th century, and America was not the most prosperous in 1789. Idiocracy and the collapse of the United States of America, these fools are ruining our nation and our economy. So what will Donald Trump do next? This is Canada. Play this clip to hear Donald Trump claim that Canada is the worst and that it is entirely their responsibility for screwing us.
And with countries like Canada, you know, we subsidize a lot of countries and keep them going and keep them in business. In the case of Mexico, it's $300 billion a year. In the case of Canada, it's close to $200 billion a year. And I say, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? I mean, at what point do we say, you got to work for yourselves, and you got to, this is why we have the big deficits. This is why we have that amount of debt that's been placed on our heads over the last number of...
They don't just see what you're doing as a trade war, Donald. They see it as you've declared war on Canada. And to be honest, you've now declared war on the rest of the world, as evidenced by South Korea. And there's a reason, Donald, why Canada has gone all out and is boycotting all American goods and American travel. No one ever anticipated that the European Union would expand its ties with Canada, and that America would become alone as a result of China and Japan forming coalitions to oppose the US and these tariffs. Here is Donald Trump criticizing Canada once more. Let's play this video.
Anything like that. With today's actions, we're also standing up for our great farmers and ranchers who are brutalized by nations all over the world. Brutalized. Canada, by the way, imposes a 250 to 300% tariff on many of our dairy products. They do the first can of milk. They do the first little carton of milk at a very low price, but after that it gets bad, and then they...
Play this clip when Donald Trump declares that he is signing the executive order.
In a few moments, I will sign a historic executive order instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal, that means they do it to us and we do it to them. Very simple, can't get any simpler than that.
By the way, Donald Trump then...
By the way, once Donald Trump leaves without signing the order, he must be instructed to return to sign it. Watch this video.
Good afternoon, y'all. We have two documents prepared for the president's signature today. One closes what's referred to as the de minimis loophole.
Donald Trump then talks about plastic Easter eggs. This is what he's thinking of.
Donald Trump then discusses plastic Easter eggs, which is what this insane, repulsive person is now thinking about. Play this video.
Up now 59%, and they're going down more, and the availability is fantastic. They were saying that for Easter, please don't use eggs. Could you use plastic eggs? I said, we don't want to do that. We want to, and you really came through. It's an amazing job. Thank you very much, Brooke. You did great.
And then Donald Trump says,
And Donald Trump continues, I just want you all to remember that today will be the best day you will ever look back on. Play this video now as it marks the moment you have all been freed.
Big moment. I think you're going to remember today. It's going to be a free nation that we're dealing with. We're going to have a very free and beautiful nation. It's going to be Liberation Day in America, and it's going to be a day that hopefully you're going to look back in years to come and you're going to say, you know, he was right. This has turned out to be one of the most important days in the history of our country.
Calling something crazy is not hyperbole, people. I'm tired of hearing comments like, oh, you're calling it psychotic, and your headlines are saying this is demented and disgusting and dangerous. That's what it is. I don't need to try to overcomplicate the danger and the stupidity that are occurring right now. Either Donald Trump is the biggest freaking idiot ever, or he is purposefully working to destroy the United States of America and your lives because he wants you to suffer, and I believe both are true.